How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Pokemon TCG Center. In today's video, we'll be looking at deck 40 expanded format, and it's actually a Virizion Genesect, so it's the reborn of the old school Virizion deck. So in my opinion, it's very good for play in the expanded format. Of course, if you want to be troll on your local league or pretty much in the bigger event, you should definitely try something like that. The main focus, of course, is going to be around that Megalo Cannon for 100 and the Red Signal. Since pretty much every deck in a current standard and expanded format, almost every deck, except for the Greninja, I guess, depend on those setups with Hoopas, Shaymins, and Jirachis. What do we need here? Well, we need Megalo Cannon, 2 energies, 2 grass energies, 1 color energies, which of course is going to be plasma energy, so we can activate that red signal and strike for 100 the Megalo Cannon. So this is going to be our base damage. With the Fighting Fury Belt, we are going to be able to add 10 more damage, so it's going to be 110. So this is going to be enough to one-hit knock out our opponent Shaymin. With 210 HP, our Genesect probably will be alive for more than 1 turn, and that means with something like a target whistle, we can just easily put on the bench again our opponent, Shaymin, and pretty much go for another 110. Either way, with the Shadow Triad for maybe another Plasma Energy from a Disco Pile, or maybe for Seeker for Lysander, and doing that over and over again. So, of course, to help power up your Genesect, I'm running also 3 copies of Virizion-EX with that Verdant Wind. Pretty much Genesect can be unaffected like all of your Pokemon that has any grass energy attached from those special conditions. With their Emerald Slash, you can strike for 50 and pretty much attach 2 grass energies from your deck to one of your benched Pokemon. And with Jirachi, of course, we can use Stellar Guidance to search 1 supporter card. With Shaymin, we can set up. With Mr. Mime, we can prevent our bench from being damaged from those finite evil tiles, so it's very important. With Deoxys, we can add 10 more damage, so we can go in without Fighting Fury Belt for 110, or for those Mega Evolutions, so we can strike maybe for 210. And of course, with Hoopa-EX Scampering, we can pretty much search and set up for 3 EX Pokemons, and we can't unfortunately use Hyperspace Fury, but maybe in some other video we might be able to do even that. But in this video, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do that. So 12 Pokemon, 35 trainer cards, 13 energies, and there we go. That's pretty much the list for the expanded format, as you can see in front of you. So from the item cards, 4 copies of Max Elixirs, well, they're pretty much going to be able to help you maybe turn 1 even strike for 2 prize knockouts with that Megalo Cannon for Red Signal. Since this deck does not run Floatstone, you're probably going to notice that I'm running 2 Skyarrow Bridge for the free treat, but later about that. There's 1 Startling Megaphone, of course. Discard all Pokemon tool cards attached to your opponent Pokemons in play. Very important, especially against Garbodors. So we can one-hit knock out Garbodor, so it's not a big deal, I guess. But it's very important. 1 Super Rod to recycle energies, of course. 2 copies of Target Whistles. This is the MVP card for this deck, of course, along with the Red Signal ability. So it's a secret weapon. 3 Trainers Mails, 4 Ultra Balls, and 4 V-Seeker. From supporter cards, well, there is a lot of different supporter cards, 6 different supporter cards, 10 in total. So 1 Hex Maniac to shut down Greninja's abilities, very important. So if Greninja cannot use Young Weather Shurikens, it's definitely going to be in very bad position, especially against weakness. I don't know how it's going to be that for Greninja Break, because I can one-hit knock out Greninja Break, where he might not be even able to one-hit knock out my Genesect. This is definitely going to be very important. Then, moving to 1 Karina, to basically take advantage against those decks like a Night March, like a West Pikmin Flareon, so it's very important card. 1 Lysander, of course, we don't need more than 1. Not in the wildest dream, we don't need, because we have Megalo Cannon. 2 Ants and 4 Professor Junipers, of course, and we end the supporter list with 1 Shadow Triad. So good card. It will allow you to grab pretty much either way G Booster or Plasma Energy from Disco Pile and put it into your hand, which is going to be very important. Of course, if you don't have Lysander in your Disco Pile, you can Shadow Triad for Plasma Energy attached to your Genesect, use Red Signal, and pretty much that's it. 3 different stadium cards, 1 Parallel City. I really like it, because it's here basically to help me remove my damaged Pokemon from the bench, but even to remove trash like Hoopa, Jirachi, and Shaymin. Of course, these Pokemons are trash once we set up, but they're pretty much the must-have until we manage to set up. Also 2 copies of Skyarrow Bridge for the free retreat in case we start with the Shaymin-EX or Jirachi-EX PLB, so it's very important. And of course, it will reduce the retreat on the Deoxys and on the Hoopa down to 1, so that's very, very neat. 2 copies of the Fighting Fury Belt, so pretty much to add that needed 10 damage and 40 HP, 1 G Booster, and 13 energies in total, 4 of them Plasma and 9 Grass Energy. So this deck is very, very funny to play. I can definitely tell you guys, if you would like to have some fun in the expanded format, you should definitely try to test this out. So if you're looking for any of these cards as usual, find them on TCGcastle.com. With TCG Center 5 code, you can also get 5% discount in purchase, so keep that in mind. So let's do some game test so you can actually see this deck in the action. So see you in the game. Alright guys, let's do this. So I'm definitely starting with my Virizion in the active spot. I will put down my Genesect-EX on the bench. So looking for my opponent to see if he have... Oh no, he don't have basic Pokemon, looks like. I see Lampent, so I see Octilleries. I'm not sure if it's a Night March. I see Westpick Winds, so probably it is. Maybe even Night March, Westpick Wind, Flareon deck, something like that, because I see those Fire Energy cards. Of course, I would like to drop some extra resources because I can. I don't want to set up my Mr. Mime, so my opponent will go first. So let's see. There is a Battle Compressor. I mean, I have Trainer's Mail and the Max Elixir sitting in my hand, which means that this will allows me to go through my deck, maybe even find another Max Elixir and maybe 2 Grass Energies. Well, that would be so good. 1 Ultra Ball, probably for that Eevee. I don't know, maybe for just another Remoraid. Okay, interesting. What else he can have? Birch Observation for 7. Very nice setup. Okay, DC on the Joltik. Acrobike. Ah, so he discarded Ultra Ball. Probably he took that Battle Compressor. Of course, it's much better to take that Battle Compressor instead of the Ultra Ball. And there we go. There's also Anon and the Pupkaboo and my turn. So still, this is a big mystery in my opponent deck, I should say that. Let's first go with the Trainer's Mail. Shadow Triad is a card to be discarded. I guess I should go with that Max Elixir. Okay, never mind. So we'll play that Hoopa actually, because I can grab a few more cards from my deck with it. And I can grab another Virizion, I can grab 1 more Genesect, I guess. And then I can grab 1 Shaymin for that setup. And after that I can pretty much easily play my Parallel City. Or I can just simply go with the Skyarrow Bridge to have that free retreat. So there is a Grass Energy with the Max Elixir, luckily. And I'm thinking about putting better that Skyarrow Bridge maybe in play. Because I'm looking for 1 more Max Elixir and basically 1 Plasma Energy, so I can use my Red Signal and knock on my opponent Joltik. So there we go. So looks like I might be even able to do that. So far this looks very promising. Professor Juniper 4/7, so I'm still searching just for the single card, which is a Plasma Energy. No! No! That was so close. But unfortunately, it's not enough close. But at least, I guess I can retreat and strike with my Megalo Cannon, at least 20 damage to that Pupkaboo on the bench. I guess I should go maybe with 20 damage on the Remoraid. But at least, I took a prize card here, so I can't complain. At least I have 210 HP. It's not going to be that easy for that Night March to 1-hit knock on my Genesect here. There's 1 Fire Energy on his Pupkaboo. So I really missed the opportunity to hit that Plasma Energy, and I was very close. I was definitely very, very close with it. Unfortunately, not enough. So another Farwell Leather Okay, there's a combi and another firewall leather. Okay, another bell compressor. Alright, so a few more resources discarded. And this is going to be Night March for 160. It's a very big Night March, I guess. So, I'm thinking about maybe just trying to power up my Virizion here. Might not be that bad option. I can all night long use my target whistle, put my opponent Joltik on the bench. It will reduce the damage that he's going to be able to do, but of course it will also help me. Okay, so let's call the heads. So it's the standard procedure when I'm playing, because I'm always calling the hands of the coin flip. Oh, look at this. Shaymin or Jirachi. I guess none of these two are actually good start. But I guess Shaymin is Sky Return, it have more HP, so somehow I think it might be better. Okay, at least I top deck that Virizion. There's one grass energy, and before I play my Sycamore, I can use that Max Elixir, which is very important. And of course I can Juniper for 7. So there is Hoopa, there is another Virizion, so of course in this case I don't need Hoopa anymore because I already managed the setup. So all I really need is that Ultra Ball for one of my Genesect-EXs, so I can pretty much put it onto my bench and try to find with the Trainer's Mail maybe another Max Elixir. No, there's a Skyarrow Bridge, at least I can retreat for free with my Shaymin from the active spot, so I can have that Virizion in the active position, so I can next turn just simply and easily strike my opponent Gable for the knockout, and also attach 2 energies on my Genesect, which is very powerful, I guess. And I still have that Seeker, which can be easily Professor Juniper for 7 new cards. So definitely that Skyarrow Bridge helped a lot. Alright, so there's Gable and Green. Actually, a lot of players love that Guardian deck, especially in the expanded format. It's budget-friendly deck, and it's also a very powerful deck. And with those Karinas, it actually works much better than in the current standard format, because Karina is a good supporter card. It will allow you to grab one fighting Pokemon and one item card in your hand, so you can easily grab something like Gable and Rare Candy, or maybe even something else, depend on the other cards you have in your deck. And of course in your hand. So waiting for that Karina. Oh, there's a Carbink. Oh, right. So that means only one thing. He can retreat for free on the Carbink, prevent me from knocking out his Gable, which is going to be very good. But at least my red signal will activate sooner or later that catcher on my opponent Gable. So a 1 grass energy, where should I put that? I guess on maybe Virizion, and with the V-Seeker I will just grab that Juniper for 7 new cards. Okay, there is another Genesect and 1 Fighting Fear Belt. So more than that, I guess I can just knock out his Gable and attach 2 grass energies from my deck to my Genesect-EX. Okay, so he have only 1 Carbink, and that means that I need to find somehow my So I'm searching my deck for the Hex-Maniac. For the one-hit knockout against his Carbink. Oh, there's Lucario. Okay, so with the red signal, next turn, I guess I can easily put his Lucario EX in the active spot and strike him for 110. So this is definitely going to be very important. There's one Max Elixir, okay, for one Fighting Energy. I mean, he can even use that Power Gem or Diamond Gift, but he decided to go with the Power Gem for 60. So that means that it's time to activate my red signal, Lysander his Lucario, and I can still play my supporter card, which is very important. So one more Grass Energy I guess I can attach next turn on my Genesect-EX on the bench. More than that, I'm good for now, so I guess I can even put my Deoxys on the bench to add 10 more damage, but I really don't want to do that at this moment. So Megalith Cannon for 110, and unfortunately I can't attack for 20 on the bench because Carbink have that ability, Safeguard, so I really need to find pretty much my Hex-Maniac to knock him out. So there's Karina. Okay, let's see. Okay, for another Carbink and a Seeker Dash. So I'm very low on those V-Seekers. I already have 2 in my disco pile, so I really don't like that at all. I mean, with just a single energy card, okay, so he might just decide to attack my Genesect here, or maybe he can even retreat on the Carbink break on his bench. He had 2 different options, and yes, he decided to retreat on the bench. That's the way to go. So another Power Gem for the 60. And it's my turn, so the top deck is a Shaymin-EX. Of course, it's time for that Grass Energy and for Juniper for 7. Okay, there is just a target whistle at this moment. It's not good, so I'm searching something good with my Trainer's Mail, which is a G Booster, so this is a little bit better. Of course, with the G Booster, I can even go through his Carbink Safeguard without thinking too much, so I'm going to use my Emerald Slash, unfortunately for 0 damage, but I can add that very important Grass Energy on my Genesect-EX. And the next turn, I can strike for 200 and knock out his Carbink break, which will allow me to draw 1 more prize, but I need after that knock out another Carbink break on his bench. So it's not gonna be that easy, especially without Hex-Maniac, of course. So there is one Steven. Okay, Ace Trainer and the Fighting Energy. So he's preparing to put me down to like 3 cards on his next turn. And I wish I can find that Hex-Maniac. It's very important to hit that Hex-Maniac as fast as I can. So another target whistle, and that Trainer's Mail can give me, I guess, M. So I will definitely grab that N. First, of course, I will activate my red signal and catch his Lucario from the bench. And after that, I still need to grab so much prize cards. I'm thinking about playing that one target whistle. It might not be good, but I definitely want to take a prize card against my opponent. So I'm thinking maybe about also playing one Ultra Ball to thin a little bit more of my deck for that Juniper and a Parallel City at this moment. I know this is not a good call, but at least I can see what else I have left in my deck. So I see that Hexmaniac, which is very important. And there we go with the M. So 5 cards for me. Still no sign of the Hexmaniac, but at least it's going to be Retreat for free. And of course, Megalocannon for the knockout. And of course, 20 damage on his Gable on the bench. So far, so good, I guess. Still need to take 3 more prize cards. I have Lysander and I have Plasma Energy in my hand, so definitely will be good. So if I want to use my G Booster, I need to discard 2 energies attached from my Genesect. So I can easily do that, discarding 2 of my Plasma Energy cards. But of course, next turn, I really want to knock out his Garchomp from the bench. This is definitely very, very important to eliminate that Garchomp because he's definitely going to be a big threat. And I'm just thinking about knocking him out with my maybe even, let's say he can strike. Oh, there's an Ace Trainer. Okay, so he managed to find another Ace Trainer again. I mean, I can even knock him out with my Virizion, and probably I will do that. Oh, nice. A Lysander. Oh, Fighting Stadium. Okay. So Power Gem will be for 80. That means he still can't one-hit knock out my Virizion. And definitely I want to use my Lysander here and basically knock out his Gaibite or Gaibite or whatever this dude is called with my Virizion. And oh, I need to pay 1 retreat cost, which is gonna be 1 Plasma Energy, of course. So Emerald Slash for the 120, not for the 60, but for the knockout. Well, yes. I can see what else I have left in my deck. Pretty much nothing. I have 3 max elixirs, but they're just useless. 2 more prize to go. 1 Grass Energy for me, which is very cool. So I guess right now he can strike for 80 with 1 more strong energy. It's gonna be 20 more damage, I guess. So that will be enough for the knockout. On the other side, I can easily next turn use my Megalocannon for so many damage counters for 200, and it will be enough to one-hit knock out his Carbon Break. So I have safety knockout against that safeguard next turn, so I don't need to worry too much about it. So there's a V-Seeker for Steven. Why would you go with the V-Seeker for Steven? I don't know. I would probably go with the V-Seeker for Ace Trainer because it should put your opponent down to 3 cards. You never know what your opponent have in your hand. I mean, Steven is a good card, but not that good. And there's a Lysander actually, so he definitely wants to Lysander my Genesect-EX on the bench. And I'm also thinking about maybe playing Juniper this turn, trying to maybe even, I don't know, let's see. I mean, the one thing is for sure, 1 Grass Energy, it should be attached on my Genesect-EX. That's for sure. So I'm going to retreat on my Genesect-EX. Knowing that my opponent actually have that very dangerous Lysander in his hand, he can easily Lysander me. But if I want, I guess I can put my V-Seeker for that, and I guess I don't want to do that. I guess I can just use my Karen, but I don't need to do that. I'm going to use my G Booster for 200 damage, and it will be enough to knock out his Carbink. So I have only 1 prize left, and I have that Plasma Energy in my hand ×2, so 400 damage on his Carbon Break. 1 prize to go, the 1 prize left, so I managed to take that Ultra Ball. And the next turn is, this game is pretty much over, so without, okay, there's 1 strong energy, so he can Power Gem for 60 with the Lysander. He can only knock out my Virizion. He can even knock out my Genesect, so he can pick between those 2 guys, but luckily I have that Plasma Energy, so if he decides to do that instead of the end, the game is definitely over. So I guess he needs to focus adding me down to 1 card and hope that I'm not going to be able to find energy cards basically to knock out his carbon. But since I have also a lot more... Okay, there's a Max Elixir, so with the Max Elixir definitely I'm not going to be able to do anything. I need something better, definitely. I have 1 prize, my opponent have 6 prize cards. Oh my geez. So my turn is a Hex Maniac. Let's play Max Elixir. Oh, the top deck was a V Seeker. Okay, that hurts. Okay, another Power Gem for another 80 damage, and I need energy as a top deck, and this is the energy as a top deck, and the game is over, so boom, just like that, a G Booster for 200 damage, and luckily I managed to survive and knock out my opponent. Very, very dangerous and powerful Carbon Break with the Safeguard, and the game is over, so 6th prize taken, so there we go. Alright guys, so the final game for this deck, before final conclusion, but I can already make final conclusion for this deck because I really like it. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Virizion Genesect deck. Unfortunately, at the time when the deck was played back in 2013, I didn't have cash actually to build it, and unfortunately I only make it like 3 years later in the Legacy format. But the deck is definitely good. I mean, I really like the Megalo Cannon Genesect. It's so freaking broken in my opinion. So let's go with the Max Elixir. I need to hit that energy with my Genesect. So there we go. That's pretty much it I can do. I mean, I don't have too much, but for the G Booster it will definitely be a huge. So next turn, if I can top deck at least Fighting Fury Belt, I'm gonna be able to hit with my Emerald Slash for 60. There's a Skyarrow Bridge. There's a Skyfield, not a Skyarrow Bridge. For my opponent, I always mess between Skyfield and Skyarrow Bridge. I don't know why. They don't look similar, but they have similar names. Sky. So, 1 Floatstone, 1 Shaymin for 3. Oh, there we go, guys. There's the first Shaymin in this game, so I can't hide my smile right now. So, I wish I basically had that option to retreat. Unfortunately, I didn't. So, I actually decided to wait a little bit, adding that energy on my Virizion, so I can use at least Emerald Slash. And that Emerald Slash might be even with the Lysander, following with the Lysander maybe for one of his banished Pokemons. Maybe he actually decide to bring with the Bridget something like Genesect-EX and put it onto his bench. That can be easy target for my Lysander in my hand. No, it's a Seeker-EX, so still it's a good because it's a EX. So this is a Bridget for a Seeker-EX, and I like that. But I like the most the fact that I can just easily knock out that Shaymin, and just putting a single Shaymin on the bench for your opponent, this can be totally disaster. So definitely will go with my retreat cost. Emerald Slash, because I can take, in theory, up to 3 prize cards with just a single turn. So I just need Fighting Fury Belt, and that can happen easily, because I can 110 Shaymin-EX and 20 on his Bronzer, which will be 3 prize cards. So far, I guess not the best, not the perfect start, but it's still pretty decent, I guess. Always can be much worse than it's now. And there's a V-Seeker for another Bridget. Okay, at least I know that my opponent have very bad hand. So let's see what he will take with his Bridget. Okay, so another bronzer. There's a float stone. And he actually did a favor here, putting his Shaymin in the active spot. So I will have a slightly different tactic here because I'm going to use my G Booster basically, and I'm going to Lysander his Bronzong, so I can just easily retreat on my Genesect. Of course, I'm going to pay 1 Plasma Energy, and for this turn, I guess I can go with my Juniper for 7. I could even use my Parallel City, but I don't want to do that right now. There's a G Booster. And this is going to be Megalo Cannon for 120 to his Bronzer. So that means that I managed to knock out Bronzong and 1 Bronzer in just a single turn, which is more than amazing. And knowing that my opponent might not be able basically to set up next turn, I can have a V-Seeker for Lysander, or I can have a V-Seeker. I can have V-Seeker for Lysander, but the most important thing is that I can have a Shadow Triad for Plasma Energy, and I can use my red signal and hit for 200 his Seeker-EX. And I'm thinking about doing that actually, because after that I can just pretty much try to find Lysander and knock out his Shaymin-EX and finish the game. So there's a 1 more Bronzong for my opponent, but looks like that he had pretty much nothing. 1 Muscle Band, and what else he can find? I mean, I don't feel good because he didn't start pretty well, but at least there's 1 Professor Sycamore, so finally something. And the Battle Compressor for some Metal Energy cards, but Cold Shower, I guess, it's gonna happen for my opponent next turn. So 1 Battle Compressor for 3 Metal Energies. There we go. There's 1 Genesect. Oh, I like the Genesect-EX. 1 Genesect-EX, but a metal type. I really don't like Genesect being metal. I more like it in the grass shape, so it's much better. But both decks are actually strong. Now, Rapid Blaster is very strong attack, but in my opinion, Megalo Cannon and Red Signal are much better. So another Battle Compressor and the Trainer's Mail. Probably he don't even know what I have in my hand. I have total disaster for him, I can definitely tell that. So probably I'm going to put Skyarrow in play, just in case he somehow managed to find Lysander. And I'm going to play my Shadow Triad for that Plasma Energy, because I'm going to be able to use Red Signal and hit for 200 without pretty much discarding extra energy, where I can also... Oh, Scoop Up Cyclone, I like this move. Well, dude, that was a pretty damn good move, I guess. Because he can strike for 40 and reduce the damage. Oh, he can strike for the Gale Trust, which is going to be 130. Okay, I need to change my tactic a little bit here. So at least I can Megalo Cannon still for 200. It will be enough to knock out his Caesar. So I don't need to worry too much yet. That is for sure. So I'm going to play my Ultra Ball for 1 Hex Maniac and 1 Skyarrow Bridge. And I'm looking forward to take that extra Genesect-EX in play. Well, you know, just in case. You never know what can happen. Skyarrow Bridge, of course. And I want to be sure that I'm going to be able to use at least my Emerald Slash next turn. More than that, I'm going to use my V-Seeker and play that Hex Maniac. So my opponent, it's not going to be able to use those Metal Links, which is going to be very important. And of course, G Booster, that's pretty much all I need to do. So G Booster, hitting for 200 and taking 2 more prize cards. And I think my opponent in this situation can't do too much. pretty much he can't do too much. There's one more V-Seeker and a Trainer's Mail, but I have only 2 more prize cards left. That means then I need pretty much to activate my red signal or just knock out his Shaymin-EX. Of course, with double course energy, if he had one and muscle band, he can strike me with the Sky Return for enough damage to knock out because I have 170 HP. But if that's not going to happen, and it's not going to happen, I'm going to win the game. So there we go, guys. 3 games in a row, 3 pretty much easy victories, and that's pretty much it. So a lot of tokens, and I also managed to get that booster pack for free. So there we go. This is the full deck list once again that I used to play in today's video. I hope you guys enjoy watching it. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoy watching this video, or don't forget to hit the dislike button if you didn't like this video. So let me know in the comments what you think about it. So it's definitely good in my opinion. I really like it. If you have all cards to build this deck, you should definitely test it out. If you want more speed, you can definitely add more speed cards to this deck. So if you want more speed, you can cut one Virizion-EX, you can add one more Grass Energy, and for example, you can always cut some other cards like one Fighting Fury Belt, one Skyarrow Bridge, in addition to add 2 Colress machines. And there we go. So we have even much more speed with this build. Even Mr. Mime can be discarded, but even Deoxys to add even more better consistency with this deck. For example, if you want to have much better speed, much more speed, you can even add one more Trainer's Mail, for example, and maybe even one Colress machine. Or if you just want to have more option to start with Genesect or Virizion turn 1, you might just add another Virizion. So one more time, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel as usual if you already didn't. And until the next time, have a nice day, whatever you are, and pretty much goodbye.